What's a story, amigos? This is Kino with some cool stories for today's story time.
First, follow the adventures of two babies hitting the town. And what do you say to a big green monster?
Go away, big red mouth.
Then, can a talking bone and a plump pig outwit a hungry fox?
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bing, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to introduce the amazing Kino and his magical powers. Thank you.
Oh, bravo.
Thank you.
Hello, Kino. You remember Kathy?
Hi, Kino.
Hi, Kathy.
And Keith. And
Hi, Keith.
Kevin and
Hi,
Autumn.
Kevin. Hi, Autumn. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Kino, are you going to do a magic show for us? Or would you rather listen to some stories?
Oh, I'd rather show my magic, you bet.
Okay.
The amazing magic of Kino's mysterious powers of magic and the extra cool secrets of his incredible skills. And the first magic trick that the amazing Kino will do is, read a story.
That's the Kino we know and love.
Yeah.
This is a great story. It's called The Two Bad Babies. But they weren't really bad. That's their last name, Bad.
Oh.
It's by Jeffy Ross Gordon, illustrated by Chris L. Demarest. Nap time, said Mrs. Bad, and she plunked her two bad babies in bed. But the two bad babies, they didn't want a nap. So they rocked and they bounced and they bounced and they rocked until their baby bed rolled across the floor and out the door and bumpity-bump-bump down the hill to the center of town where it stopped. Kerthump. At the Tasty Pastry Bakery Shop. Why, it's the two bad babies, said Mrs. Tasty Pastry. And she gave them cookies with frosting on top from the Tasty Pastry Bakery Shop. And a chocolate eclair to share. Then the two bad babies, they rocked and they bounced and they bounced and they rocked till their baby bed rolled across the floor and out the door and bumpity-bump-bump down the street to the center of town till it stopped. Kerthump. Say kerthump with me, ready? Kerthump. At the super brand new Bijou show. Why, it's the two bad babies, said Ms. Lulu Sue Bijou. And she gave them seats in the very first row of the super brand new Bijou show and a tub of popcorn to share. Then the two bad babies, guess what they did? They rocked and they bounced and they bounced and they rocked till their baby bed rolled across the floor and out the door and bumpity-bump-bump down the street to the edge of town till it stopped, kerthump, at Greasy Jack's Hamburger Shack. Hey, why, it's the two bad babies, said Greasy Jack. And he gave them each a burger with cheese, plus a strawberry malt with 2 straws, please, and an order of fries to share.
They're getting a lot of things.
They are. They're going to be full. Then the two bad babies, they rocked and they bounced and they bounced and they rocked till their baby bed rolled across the floor and out the door and bumpity bump bump up the street to the center of town till it stopped. Curve, thump, thump. At the Noah Bad Read-a-Book Nook. Why, it's my 2 bad babies, said Noah Bad, their dad. And he gave them each a nap-time book from the shelf of the Noah Bad Read-a-Book Nook and a peppermint sucker to share. Then the 2 bad babies rocked, and they bounced, and they bounced, and they rocked, till their baby bed rolled across the floor, out the door, and bumpity-bump-bump up the hill to the center of town, and in the door and across the floor of their very own home where it stopped, ker-thump, and they fell asleep. Kerplunk. What good bad babies, said Mrs. Bad. And she took the books and toys from their baby bed, and she gave each of her babies a kiss on the head and a nice big blanket to share.
That was a good story, huh, Kino?
Yeah, that was a great story. Did you like it?
Yeah.
You know, I used to try to get out of my crib when I was littler. I can still remember that. Did that happen to you guys?
Well, I never cry that much.
You didn't?
Every time I used to wake up in my crib, and I wanted everything in the night.
Hey, you know, I think every story has a bit of magic in it.
Hey, you know, I think you're right.
I think the 2 bad babies have a magic bed that can take them anywhere.
Well, maybe their bed isn't magic because maybe they're just dreaming that they go to all those places.
Could be. You know, there's a lot of different ways of looking at a story. You look at it like this, like this, like this, like this.
Well, speaking of stories, Kathy, which other books do you have?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I need your opinion. I bought this book for a friend of mine, and I need to ask you what you think.
Oh, you do? Why?
Well, Ryan is afraid of monsters, and so I thought maybe if I read him this book, Go Away Big Green Monster, it might help. What do you think?
Oh, well, you know, Kathy, I remember when I was littler, I was afraid of monsters, too.
Yeah. Well, why don't I just read the book, and we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Go Away Big Green Monster by Ed Emberley. Ooh. Big green monster has 2 big yellow eyes. A long bluish-green nose.
A very long green nose.
A big red mouth with white sharp teeth. 2 squiggly little ears. Not too scary, they're kind of cute.
Hey, what if Kino has those? He does. Yeah. Nice hair.
Scraggly purple hair.
Comb your hair.
And a big, scary green face. But you don't scare me. So go away, scraggly purple hair. Go away, 2 little squiggly ears. Go away. Go away, long bluish green nose. Go away, big green face. Go away, big red mouth. Go away, sharp white teeth. Go away, 2 big yellow eyes. Go away, big green monster. And don't come back until I say so.
Oh, that was funny. I think that book really will help little Ryan. That's what I think.
You do?
Yeah. How about you, Kevin?
Though you know, that book is magic because at the end, the monster disappears.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely right.
Oh, well, the amazing Kino can make people disappear with his magical powers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Would you like to see? Huh?
I'd love to see.
Yeah, I want to. Yes, make us disappear.
Okay. Allow me to show you.
Fine.
Please, both of you, stand up and stand side by side.
Okay.
Stand up. All right.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
right there.
Excuse me.
Just right there.
Okay, here? Is this?
Excellent, yes.
Okay.
Right where you are. Okay, that'll be just fine.
Okay.
Now, watch and beware. the amazing Kino at work. Here we go. The leg of a frog. The tail of a steer. I command Kathy and Mara to quickly disappear. Wow! I did it! Gee, to tell you the truth, I didn't even know I could do that. Kino and his magical powers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here we are.
Hello, everybody. We brought a wonderful book.
Oh, hi, everybody. Hey, you're never going to believe what happened. Come on, you guys. Come on.
What happened? Where's Mara?
Well, you see, it was like this. I got magic powers, so she asked me to do this magic trick, see? And I did it, and I made her disappear. But I can bring her back, no problem.
Huh?
Well, I brought this wonderful book, The Amazing Bone.
I can tell they don't believe me, but that's okay. Because I'll just listen to the story, and then I'll surprise them with my magical powers and bring Mara and Kathy back. Sounds like a great story, Artie. Let's hear it, okay?
All right. The Amazing Bone by William Steig. It was a brilliant day, and instead of going straight home from school, Pearl dawdled. She watched the grown-ups in town at their grown-up work, things she might be someday doing. She saw the street cleaners sweeping the streets, and she looked in at the bakery on Parsnip Lane, and she saw the bakers taking hot loaves of pumpernickel out of the oven and powdering crullers with sugar dust. Did you ever have a cruller? You know what a cruller is?
No.
It's like a long donut. You just lay it out and you put powdered sugar. You know? Oh, good. Okay. On Cobble Road, she stopped at Maltby's barn and stood gawking as the old gaffers pitched their ringing horseshoes and spat tobacco juice. I got a ringer! That's how they used to do it in those days. Later, she sat on the ground in the forest between school and home, and spring was so bright and beautiful, the warm air touched her so tenderly, she could almost feel herself changing into a flower. Her light dress felt like petals.
Oh, I love everything,
she heard herself say. So do I, a voice answered. Pearl straightened up and looked around. No one was there.
Where are you?
She asked. Look down, came the answer. Pearl looked down. I'm the bone in the violets near the tree by the rock on your right. Pearl stared at the small bone.
You talk,
she murmured. In any language, said the bone. Habla español? Rozumiesz polsko? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? And I can imitate any sound there is. The bone made the sounds of a trumpet calling soldiers to arms. Then it sounded like wind blowing. Then like pattering rain. Then it snored. And then it sneezed. Pearl couldn't believe what she was hearing.
You are a bone,
she said.
How come you can sneeze?
I don't know, the bone replied. I didn't make the world.
May I take you home with me, wonderful bone?
Pearl asked. You certainly may, said the bone. I've been alone a long time. A year ago, come August, I fell out of a witch's basket. I could have yelled after her as she walked on, but I didn't want to be her bone any longer. She ate snails, cooked in garlic at every meal, and was always complaining about her rheumatism and asking nosy questions. I'd be happier with someone young and lively like you. Well, Pearl picked up the bone and gently put it into her purse. She left the purse open so they could continue their talk and started home, forgetting her school books on the grass. She was eager to show this bone to her parents, and she could guess what would happen when she did. She would tell about the talking bone, and her mother would say, "Oh, you're only imagining it." Her father would agree, and then the bone would flabbergast them both by talking. The spring green sparkled in the spring light. Tree toads were trilling, "Knit it, knit it, knit it, knit it."
It's the kind of wonderful day,
said Pearl,
when wonderful things happen, like my finding you.
"Like my finding you," the bone answered, and it began to whistle a walking tune that made the going very pleasant. But not for long. Who should rush out from in back of a boulder and spoil everything but 3 highway robbers with pistols and daggers? Pearl couldn't tell what breed of animal they were because they wore cloaks and Halloween masks, but they were fierce and spoke in chilling voices. "Hand over the purse," one commanded. Pearl would have gladly surrendered the purse just to be rid of them, but not with the bone in it. "You can't have my purse," she said, surprised at her own boldness. "Yeah? What's in it?" said another robber, pointing his gun at Pearl's head. "I'm in it," the bone growled, and it began to hiss like a snake and roar like a lion. The robbers didn't wait around to hear the rest, in case there was any more. They fled so fast you couldn't tell which way they'd gone. It made Pearl laugh. The bone, too. They continued on their way, joking about what had just happened and chatting about this and that. But it wasn't long before a fox stepped forth from behind a tree and barred their path. He wore a sprig of lilac in his lapel. He carried a cane, and he was grinning so the whole world could see his sharp, white teeth. "Hold everything," he said. Pearl froze. "You're exactly what I've been longing for," he went on. "Young, plump, and tender. You will be my main course at dinner tonight." And he seized Pearl in a tight embrace. "Unhand her, you villain," the bone screamed, "or I'll bite your ears off." Pray tell, who is that speaking?" asked the surprised fox. "Ah, a ravenous crocodile who dotes on fresh fox chops. That's who," answered the bone. The wily fox was not as easily duped as the robbers. He saw no dangerous crocodile. He peered into Pearl's purse, where the sound seemed to be coming from, and pulled out the bone. "As I live and flourish," he exclaimed, "a talking bone. I've always wanted to own something of this sort." And he put the bone in his pocket, where it roared and ranted to no avail. Pushing Pearl along, the fox set out for his hideaway. Pearl's sobs were so pitiful, the fox couldn't help feeling a little sorry for her, but he was determined she would be his dinner.
"Oh, please, Mr. Fox,"
Pearl whimpered.
"may I have my bone back? At least until I have to die?"
"Oh, all right," said the fox, disgusted with himself for being so soft-hearted, and he handed her the bone, which she put back in her purse. "You must let this beautiful young creature go on living," the bone yelled. "Have you no shame, sir?" The fox laughed. "Why should I be ashamed? I can't help being the way I am. I didn't make the world." The bone commenced to revile the fox. "You coward," it sneered. "You worm. You odoriferous wretch." These expletives were annoying. "Shut up, or I'll eat you," the fox snarled. It would be amusing to gnaw on a bone that talks and screams with pain. When they arrived at the fox's hideaway, he shoved Pearl with her bone into an empty room and locked the door. Pearl sat on the floor and stared at the walls. "I know how you feel," the bone whispered.
"I'm only just beginning to live,"
Pearl whispered back.
I don't want it to end.
I know, said the bone.
Isn't there something we can do?
Pearl asked. I wish I could think of something, said the bone, but I can't. I feel miserable.
Oh, what's that?
Pearl asked. She'd heard some sounds from the kitchen. He's sharpening a knife, the bone whispered.
Oh, my goodness.
Pearl sobbed.
And what's that?
Sounds like wood being put into a stove, answered the bone.
Oh, I hope it won't take too long,
said Pearl. She could smell vinegar and oil. The fox was preparing a salad to go with his meal. Pearl hugged the bone to her breast.
Oh, Bone, say something to comfort me.
You are very dear to me, said the bone.
Oh, how dear you are to me,
Pearl replied. She could hear a key in the lock and was unable to get another word out of her throat or turn her eyes toward the door. Be brave, the bone whispered. Pearl could only tremble. She was dragged into the kitchen where she could see flames in the open stove. Listen, I regret having to do this to you, sighed the fox. It's really nothing personal. Yibim, said the bone suddenly, without knowing why he said it. What was that? Said the fox, standing stock still. Yibim Sibivel, the bone intoned. Jabracken Sibivel de Grey. And something quite unexpected took place. The fox grew several inches shorter. Elabim Chinook Bibapet Gabozzle, the bone continued, and miraculously, the fox was the size of a rabbit. No one could believe what was happening, not Pearl, not the fox, not even the bone, whose words were making it happen. Adunis ish gulak kibokin yibep, it went on. The fox, clothes and all, was now the size of a mouse.
Whoa.
Scrabunit, the bone ordered, and the mouse, that is the minuscule fox, scurried away and into a hole.
Oh, I didn't know you could do magic,
Pearl breathlessly exclaimed. Neither did I, said the bone.
Well, what made you say those words?
I wish I knew, the bone said. They just came to me. I had to say them. I must have picked them up somehow hanging around with that witch.
You are an amazing bone,
said Pearl.
And this is a day I won't ever forget.
It was dark when they reached Pearl's house. The moment the door swung open, she was in her mother's arms. And right after that, in her father's. Where on earth have you been? They both wanted to know. We were frazzled with worry. Pearl didn't know what to say first. She held up the bone.
This bone,
she said,
can talk.
And just as she had expected, her mother said, a talking bone? Why, Pearl, it's only your imagination. And her father said something similar. And also, as Pearl had expected, the bone astonished them both by remarking, you have an exceptional daughter. Before her parents had a chance to get over their shock, Pearl began telling the story of her day's adventure, and the bone helped out. It was all too much for Pearl's parents until they got used to it. Well, the bone stayed on and became part of the family. It was given an honored place in the silver tray on the mantelpiece. Pearl always took it to bed when she retired, and the two chatterboxes whispered together until late in the night. Sometimes the bone put Pearl to sleep by singing, "Be it ever so humble," or by imitating soft harp music. Now, anyone who happened to be alone in the house always had that bone to converse with. And they all had music whenever they wanted it. And sometimes even when they did it. The end. Now, all right, since you were mentioning magic before, Kino,
Yeah?
how would you like to have an amazing magic bone?
Oh, well, you see, I I don't think I'd really need one because I already have magic, and I'm amazing also.
Oh, well, I'd love to have a magic talking bone to keep me company. How about you kids?
Would you like that? Yeah.
Yeah?
So?
Yes.
You know, Artie, it's
Yeah.
lucky for the pig that the bone remembered how to do magic spells.
Well, it remembered it because it had lived with that witch all that time, you see, and he didn't realize it by listening all the time to the witch making those crazy spells, that he learned all those spells, which is a very important thing.
What would your kids do if you could do magic?
Yeah.
I would, get my magic wand and make somebody disappear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Make someone
Yeah, could you make them reappear, though? Could you make them come back?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's important, because, a lot of people can make people disappear. Very few people know how to bring them back.
You know, there was magic in that bone, and I've got magic in my bones.
Are you still talking about magic, Keno?
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
I haven't done the magic for you to come back yet.
Well, I know, but I couldn't wait any longer. Besides, I had to bring our story picks for our friends at home.
Oh, you see, my magic worked. Kathy's vanished. The amazing Keno, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you.
Really, Kathy had to leave, but let's keep it a secret, okay?
Oh, hey, Mara, I'm glad you're back. What books did you bring?
Well, I've always liked the story of Big Al, a beautiful tale about a not-so-beautiful fish.
And I'd like to recommend Thunder Cake, a story about a girl who gets over her fear of thunder and lightning.
Today has been a most magical day, hasn't it? Friends, stories, Keno's tricks. Join us for our next story time. Until then, keep a story in your heart.
Hang loose, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So long, compadre.
Today's Storytime books are Two Bad Babies by Jeffy Ross Gordon, illustrated by Chris L. Demarest. Go Away, Big Green Monster by Ed Emberley. The Amazing Bone by William Steig. Big Al by Andrew Clements and Yoshi. Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. You can find these and other books at your local library.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bean, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television. Storytime is a production of KCET Los Angeles.